Well, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We might start harvest today. So we got basically nothing's really ready as far as equipment, but the crops are getting close and we're getting a little antsy. So we think we might try something today. I'm out here in a bean field just to see what it's like. There's a few guys running some beans in the area and it sounds like they're pretty dry, drier than they look. So I'm checking this bean field. This was planted on April 16th, first field we planted, and we're gonna see if it's ready. If it's not ready, we might try a little bit of corn, see how that is. So, let's see what we got. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's a few leaves here and there, and the beans still have kind of a greenish hue to them, so they don't look ready, but everyone's been kind of surprised, so let's pop some pods open and see what we got. Well, they look kind of fat yet. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, they're real chewy. I don't think these are gonna go today. Anyways, I guess we'll get the combine ready and try some corn. All right, we got the combine in the shop. It is pretty much ready to go. We got to finish up a couple things. We got the oil drained in it now. We got to put some fresh engine oil in it, change the filter. I got to put all the panels back on, and I need to change the hydraulic filters yet. And I got to do some stuff in the cab, make sure the screen's set up right. We put a new G5 screen in here, and I can't remember if I got that all done yet. So. Got to get to work, hoping I can get this thing ready to go real quick, and then maybe after lunch we can take some end rows off the corn, see how wet it is, see how good it's going to be, and I'll be happy if that's what we get done. All right, I have no data in here. I completely forgot about that. I'm going to have to figure out how to get that stuff set in here. What do I want to do? I guess I'll shut this off. Alright, so I got that screen kind of figured out. We started putting modems in all of our equipment so we can run JD Link and we can use wireless data transfer that way, but I kind of forgot that I never set it up. So none of our data is in that screen yet because it's brand new, so it's basically blank. And I need to get the combine out of the shed for it to be able to connect, but we still got to put oil and put panels and everything back on. So it's gonna have to sit in here. We might just have to make up a field for it today just to get it running, and then once it gets outside it should be able to pull all that data in. So Dad's here. I think he's gonna finish up the oil change. I'm gonna start putting all the shields and panels back on. We got it outside and ran it yesterday to make sure everything was all right. So let's get these panels on, I guess.
Like it's been riding there. There it went.
Well, the combine's as ready as it's gonna get. Hopefully we got everything back together and nothing flies apart. We still got to get the corn head out of the shed yet. We haven't even looked at it, so hopefully it doesn't need a whole lot. Usually just check the chains, make sure they're tight, check the gearbox oil and grease it, and it's that's all there is to it. Corn head's here. pretty easy to check these over. Basically just want to make sure the chains move. Down here, this is kind of a slider, so you want to make sure that's not stuck. Make sure there's the right tension on the spring so the chains aren't too loose. And that's pretty much it. This is a 608 corn head. Our old 893, we would get about 2 years on a set of chains. And this one is probably, what, 3 years? This is our 3rd year on this set, and they still seem to be pretty good. So, a lot better design on these. The other thing is, gotta pop these plugs out, and there's a dipstick in here to check the oil and the gearboxes. And there's one on each row. Looks like that one is just a touch low. It's just a little low. It's right on the bottom of the stick, so just put a little bit in there. Well, we got the corn head ready. Dad pulled it out. We're gonna go hook it up and head to the field, I guess. There we go. I'm a little rusty. It's been a while since I hooked up a corn head. Alright, we had a little bit of trouble getting our pins to go. The head was kind of crooked for some reason. But we got it. I'm going to run the machine and the head a little bit, make sure everything's going to work before we head to the field. Looks alright. I don't hear any loud noises. Alright, I guess we're good to go. And we're off. Headed down to the field. I'm pretty pumped. I love the first day of harvest. Actually, I'm not going to call it the first day. This is just, I'll call it our test flight. Making sure everything works. See how wet the corn is. See how good the corn is. And just kind of maybe get some bugs worked out of the machine. We got some new hardware in here. Make sure it's all going to work. So let's go down there and see what happens. Alright, here we are. Here's our first planted field of corn. It was planted on May 5th. It's 114-day maturity. So it's about as, well, it is as late as we planned. I'm not expecting it to be super dry. All our corn got sprayed with fungicide this year, so I'm expecting it to be somewhere between 20 and 25% moisture. I've been hearing some lower moistures than that. I know some neighbors took out some 16, 17%, but it was earlier maturity and planted a little earlier. So, that being said, we're going to take the end rows off, mainly so we can see at this intersection and just make sure we got everything working. So, I got to do a few more settings on the machine before I dive in. This is all new to me. We ran one of these G5s in the planter, but never ran it on a combine before, so that'll be some learning. and let's go get some stuff set up. Get my handy dandy little slide chart. So threshing range, we want to be 250 to 450. We'll turn that down a little bit. We'll go to 400. I'll go 380. Let's see, next we got cleaning fan 900 to 1300. We're going to turn that down a little bit. Rotor speed's going to take a while. Got the sieve set. Those should be fine. Concave clearance is good. Alright. I'm going to make sure my header height is set right. There's 2, 3. Yeah. That should work for me. Alright. We're going to go to the field. Wish me luck. Forgot to put our bubble up auger up. Glad I caught that. Alright, anyways, it's saying 200 bushel per acre. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I'll take that. Corn smells wet. Let's see. Hopefully I can flip this up with some corn in there. Alright, I got that fixed. I'm really glad I caught that. That would have been a mess. Anyways, the yield monitor was just starting to read when I saw that. So let's get back in and try it again. the end rows off. Got almost a full tank. Gonna empty out here. Probably just pick one semi-load for now. I think it's probably gonna be around, I don't know, 24 to 25%. I am way too close. It's hard to do this with one hand. Alright, I need my other hand. There we go. So overall, we had a pretty good growing season, so I'm expecting some pretty good yields out of the corn. The beans, I'm not real sure how good they're going to be. We had a little bit of too wet for a while, then too dry, then too wet, then too dry, and it kind of affected the beans more than it affected the corn. The corn can handle the water a little bit better than the beans, but we ended up getting some rains later in the season, and the beans started to come around and look a little better, so I guess we'll find out. This particular field was the one that I pushed for high yield. I spent a lot of money on this farm with different fertilizers and foliar applications and fungicide and everything. So I'm really hoping for some big yields out of this field. Looks pretty good, but we'll find out. Well, we picked one semi-load. I think that's going to do it for today. The end rows are pretty dry, but the edge of the field is still pretty wet. So I would say it's probably going to be in that 23 to 25 range, and that's just too wet for us. We don't want to pay for drying this year. The grain prices are not very good right now. Last year we started at 25%, but we had some $5 corn. This year we're looking at $3.60 a bushel. So it doesn't pay to dry it this year. Like I said, we want to make sure the combine was going to work, and that's what we did. Gonna head back to the shop, put this thing away for the weekend. They're calling for some rain tomorrow. Beans aren't ready yet. We still got some maintenance to do. I got to work on the truck a little bit. Get the draper out yet. Got to get the grain car hooked up. Working on the strip till bar. We got a lot of stuff to do yet. So that's probably gonna do it for this video.